everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Janet, and this is Diaspora Doodles, where I bring you the tea on teaching and living abroad, raising children abroad, third culture children. And today, I'm bringing you one of my heroes. I absolutely love his work because, do you know what? We preach the same thing. I'm going to let him introduce himself now.
It's amazing, and I do not take this opportunity for granted. Thank you very much for allowing me come on your show. Everyone refers to me as Wakawaka Doctor. I use all my social media platforms to educate people about the possibility, the routes involved in moving abroad. So if you're thinking moving abroad, you're thinking of the pathways, you're thinking of how to settle, you're thinking about living, working. So long as it has to do with being abroad, it's Wakawaka Doctor.
Yes, please say that again so that they can hear you in the back. First question, how many countries have you traveled to?
Okay, I've been to 77 countries at the moment, and I've lived and worked in 5 of these countries.
This is what we want to hear. And do you travel with your Nigerian passport or do you have another passport?
Well, I've traveled with my Nigerian passport for many years. In fact, it's the preferred choice for me, to travel. And I don't have issues with it at all. And again, my problem is that because I live and work in different places, so I get residency in different countries. So I'm not bothered.
Do you see why do you see why I say I've been following you for a while now? I'm like that fan girl waiting for you outside when you finish your rave, like just shouting, come in here. I travel on my Nigerian passport and I've never had issues because when you work in different countries, doors just open for you. I mean, I've had lots of YouTubers who talk about their distress and the problems they have traveling on this Nigerian passport. And my aim is to show people how to travel on this Nigerian passport by going to where they are needed.
So you see, the thing is, I've always said this. I've always said this to people who care to listen, that negativity sells, isn't it? Negativity sells. And while I tell people to leave their home country and explore, is because of the opportunities out there. If you think that you have opportunities in your home country, I'm not going to force you to leave. You can stay. But my goal is to encourage everyone, because I think that every human being should have an opportunity to see what it looks like abroad. You will always think that your father's garden is the biggest until you see somebody else's garden. So while the Nigerian passport is one of the poorest passports in the world, I've actually acquired another passport, but majority of all the countries that I've traveled with has been on the Nigerian passport. It's easier when you're abroad, and this is the opportunity for me. Go to where there are opportunities and see that the world is beyond your kitchen, your bathroom, and your sitting room.
Oh my God, say it again so that they can hear you. So I am a teacher and I've worked on all the habitable continents. I'm waiting for them to build a school in Antarctica so that I can actually go to Antarctica. Just so that I can tick Antarctica off my list. And when I say this on my channel, I'm sure people just laugh like, what's wrong with this woman and all of that. Now, how would you say your journey was when you first left Nigeria, and then after you got your first job outside of Nigeria, how easy was it to move after that?
You see, so I was never pro move abroad. In fact, some of my friends in medical school back in the day, after working and for the first 2 years, salary was less than $200. And I was doing 2 jobs my second year after medical school. And I was just, you live comfortably, but you get to a point where you want more.
Yes.
And my partner at the time was living abroad. And this was always a conflict now. Come abroad, no. Come to Nigeria, no. And me, I wasn't the abroad, I was just, you will come to Nigeria, you will come to Nigeria, it was more about coming to Nigeria. But I got this job opportunity and the salary was huge. It was even in the Middle East, the country I never thought I would go to ever. But I just saw that, look, this money is too good to turn down. It's too much to turn down. Boom. Yes. That was it. I made the move. When I got there, I remember my mom always, would tell my mom, she's late now, but I remember when I was moving, she was saying to me, "Don't fight with them, oh, don't quote scripture, don't carry Bible, oh." Middle East and the thinking that comes with it. But when I
Yes.
got there, it was a totally different vibe, totally different impression. Those guys are fantastic. They're amazing. The hospitality and the friendship it blew me out of my mind. And I started seeing different cultures, the way you know, the way they approach life, easy and nobody is worried. Everything is
Yes.
inshallah, inshallah.
Exactly.
And I was just like, what kind of people is this? You go to the restaurant, somebody you've never seen before, who doesn't know you before, would suddenly call you and pull you and say, come to my table and come and eat. You've never seen the person before. He would invite you on his
Exactly.
table. You guys would dip hand in the same plate. They're not poor people. And I'm like, how are these people just huge hearts? And then I went to Dubai that was close. So I started from Saudi Arabia. So I went to Dubai that was close to Saudi Arabia. And I saw that this is another Arab country, but they're like this. While Saudi Arabia is very conservative,
Conservative, yes.
Dubai and United Arab Emirates is boom, open to everyone. So let's see that look, things are different outside. Things are different. And then I worked with, people from different countries, worked with Egyptians, worked with Sudanese, worked with Pakistanis, worked with Indians, worked with
Yes.
other Africans. And then I started to pick the language. So why would you want to say no to this kind of opportunity? There's
Exactly.
increased financial remuneration coming in for you. You're learning about different cultures. You're
Yes.
meeting people from other backgrounds and other social norms. You're learning. Traveling is the greatest form of education ever. Ever. The greatest form of education ever. And when I started, going from Saudi Arabia to Dubai to how many countries did this world again? 190. So let's start. Okay, so I've done three. Boom, boom, boom. That's how I started, and 77 now. So
And you've enjoyed it. So what
uh,
have you picked? What have you picked? What's the one thing that you will advise people to do? Do you just advise them to jump in and just experience it, or do you want them to choose? Because some
there's
people prefer to choose places like, if it's not UK, no. If it's not US, I won't go. If it's not
there's a
Canada,
popular saying, and it may sound very cliche, and people say it, but it's very deep. Do it afraid. I think that yields a lot of results. I think that has of huge impressions. I would tell anyone that you need to ask yourself 3 or 4 questions. Why do you want to move abroad?
yes,
Where do you want to move to? How
yes,
do you want to move? And when? You need to ask yourself these W questions or H questions. Now, that why is very important. Are you moving because it's the thing in vogue now? Everybody is moving abroad. So that I want to move abroad too. Is that why? Is it because you want to earn in foreign currencies? That I moved because of the money. I've always said it is because of the
yes,
money. You need to be sincere with yourself. Are you moving
yes,
because you want to earn in foreign currency? Are you moving because in your country roads are bad? There's no electricity. You want a place where things work. Are you moving because you're thinking about your children? You want them to have a passport stronger than the passport you've had and have access to global opportunities? Or you're looking for
yes,
even you want to have a passport that allows you freedom of travel. So you need
yes,
to ask yourself, why am I doing it? When you can answer this question, you now think about, how am I going to do it? Are you going to move as a student? Are you going to move through your career? Are you going to move through permanent residency pathways? Are you going to move through marriage? You need to ask
yes,
yourself. Then you need to ask yourself, how am I going? Can I afford it? Can I afford it? And this is the big question. So it might be difficult from the financial standpoint if you make it difficult. The travel isn't, and that's why we create all this content. Dangote's family members don't need my content to travel abroad.
no,
Or $10,
they don't.
they don't need my content to move. For that person that thinks it is impossible, there's no way for me to do it. There are a billion ways, different ways. I spoke to a woman last week who reached out to me. She's been following me for years and eventually had the courage to reach out to me. She's in her 50s, right? In her 50s. She's been a banker for 20 plus years.
Oh, wow.
And moved abroad because I said so. And she was just thanking me and thanking me. In 2 years, she's lived in the UK, she's lived in the US, and now she's moving to Germany. And she's happy. Like
Exactly.
and this is what it is about. She's worked with Americans, British people. Now she's going to work with Germans. She's lived in these countries. She knows how things work. She can drive in the US now. She can drive in the UK, 2 different driving methods. So
Yes.
you just widen your horizon. You just get experiences you cannot buy anywhere.
Oh my goodness. In fact, you summarized my whole channel. Like I tell people, just take a leap of faith and just travel because just living one place and going to another place is an education in itself. And you learn so many things, your perspective changes, your outlook changes, your mind is open. As long as you go with an open mind, you're
It's
fine.
very underrated. And one of the things why, like me, for instance, my life is filled with a lot of ups and downs, and travel is my solace. Okay, so when I travel, once I enter the plane and I can see sky, that is my
Yes.
happiest moment. So it helps your mental health, makes you feel in a better place. You
Yes.
learn a lot. You learn
A
a
lot.
lot, and you widen your perspective, broaden your horizon, like you said, and you just see that look, the world is so big. I met a guy at the airport on my last trip in Turkish airport, and I
Yes.
was the only black person at that point. And I usually get people at airports who recognize me. He just came and met me, and he was speaking in a language I didn't understand. And I saw that he was holding a boarding pass, but he was speaking
Yes.
a language. So he kept doing like this, doing like this. Okay. And I said, "What is the problem?" I took his passport. This brother is from Tajikistan. So I
Wow.
took him to, I looked at the boarding pass. It turns out that this guy doesn't know
Where
where
to
his
go?
flight is going to take out from, where it's going to go to the gate. So I took him to the board. I showed him. He said, "Good, good, good." He said, "I was doing like this." So brought out phone, translator. I told him to talk to the translator. He spoke to the translator. Then I got the answer back, and he didn't know his gate. He didn't know how to get there.
Oh,
So I walked him down, maybe like 10 minutes, walked him down there, showed him the gate, told him to sit down. He hugged me. He was happy that, I've never hugged a Tajikistan man before. Now I've hugged a
but
Tajikistan
you
man,
did.
and I've helped him. I've helped him too. So
Yes,
these are some of the little things in the big picture that you learn from traveling abroad.
it is. Oh, thank you so much for this. I mean, my audience will be blown away that you're even on the channel. What is the one thing you're going to leave with them today? What is the advice from Wakawaka Doctor?
So the one thing is that there are several nuggets that I always say, punch words that I always
Yes,
say based on my experience and that I will share. And I've always shared it, but I will say it again to everyone watching. That number one is it doesn't have to be the US, it doesn't have to be the UK. Your placenta is not buried in these countries.
no,
Long as the place you want to go to is better than where you are at the moment, move. If it is South Africa that fits your criteria, and South Africa is better than where you are,
right
that
now.
is your own move abroad. And you can use that as a stepping stone to other places. I give an example. When I tell somebody, move to Brazil, because Brazil
Yes,
offers free education, and someone is
yes,
going to say, Brazil, Brazilians are going to the US. Are you US? Are you in the US? Even your own country now, they are so confused, they've changed national anthem again. You are now arguing with people. So you have to think about it. In Brazil, there is constant electricity. You talk about the rate of unemployment in Brazil is less than 10%. In Nigeria, it's in
yes.
its 30s. But the Brazilian passport is top 20 strongest passports in the world. Think about that.
Yes.
Nigerian passport is 89th strongest passport in the world. So think about that. Brazilians have access to free education. They have access to free healthcare service. These are the things that you'll be thinking about. I always encourage people, take that leap. Use that as your stepping stone. Do it afraid. You can move. There are places you can go for free. There are vocational schools. There are job opportunities, visa sponsorship. I talk about this every week. So it is
Yes.
possible. You can do it if you want to.
Fantastic. Oh my God. Guys, if you've watched this tonight, I will challenge you to go subscribe to his channel. He has nuggets there every single day. In fact, do you know what? I go there every day to go and find out what am I not doing, and I check what am I not doing? What's the new thing? What's the new rave? And I'm so blown away that you're on this channel today. So thank you so much for gracing this channel.
Thank you very
And
much.
I hope that I can pull you back some other time so that we can do
Absolutely,
sort of
absolutely.
live
Anyone.
or something, because my audience will be blown away. After this, I'm going to go into the corner and scream
Pleasure,
and
real pleasure.
hope to see you again. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for coming, guys. Good night and stay blessed. Bye.